Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Decided to sit down and catch my breath. Been getting this ready to plant my gold and silver so that come harvest time this year that I'll have a good amount to harvest, because folks, I'm telling you, if you want to do a big investment, I mean a serious investment in the times that we're living in, that's going to get you probably one of the best returns this year of any investment you could probably put your money into. It's this right here. This part of the garden I hadn't been able to get turned under yet because of all the rain. It's just too wet, and finally was able to get out in it today and turn it under a little bit, and got a bunch of compost putting on it, and then covering it, getting it ready and settled down for planting season here soon. And of course we have storms moving in tonight, some very serious storms potentially. So those of you in southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, up in northern Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, that area, certainly be on your toes, because it looks like the potential for some real severe storms. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on today that probably some people might be interested in hearing about. Most importantly, I guess, would be Trump is now at the courthouse. Apparently they're not going to put handcuffs on him or not going to take a mugshot, but he's in the courthouse now, running through the hoops and jumping over all that kind of stuff. That's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about something that I've been talking about quite a bit here lately, and the reason is because I think it's extremely, extremely important, and it's not getting talked about enough. Now, I know some of you are aware of it, but it's certainly not getting talked about enough, and that is the de-dollarization. This is moving actually quite rapidly. Probably faster than I even expected it, even though I knew that it was going to be going this direction. Not that I knew because I had some deep insight, because it's inevitable. It's what happens, and then you can see the handwriting on the wall for years. It is a little surprising that it's moving this fast, and it is moving fast. Don't let anyone try to convince you that this is not a big deal and it's not moving fast. Today I wanted to show you this. I took these screenshots just before I started recording, so I know that these things change constantly. But gold and silver are up quite a bit. They've both taken a pretty good jump today. Very likely indicating, the dollar is getting weaker, because the dollar is getting weaker. The charts show that the dollar is getting weaker, treasury's gone down, all that sort of stuff. Yes, the ducks love it when I do this, because they run out here and they eat the grubs and probably a few worms and things like that, which is fine. It's good fertile soil. This is their favorite time of the year. Anyways, actually, if you watched me when I'm tilling, they're right at my feet. I mean, I have to watch it so I don't run them over as I'm turning around and stuff, because they're right at my feet while I'm tilling. They're not afraid of that thing at all. And when I crank it up, they know what's going on, and here they come running. Anyways, back to the de-dollarization. A week ago, and I talked about this, but I want to bring it up again because I think it's important, probably more important now a week later than we thought it was a week ago. The president of Kenya, he said, well, I'm going to play it here, but let me explain it. He said, giving a little speech before his people, that if you have anything held in dollars, you better get out of it. You better get out of it soon, because the dollar's going down, and here in a couple of weeks things are going to be different. It's going to be a different market. Now, it's not that Kenya holds a lot of weight in the global markets, or that you should probably be getting your financial advice from the Kenyan president, but when that was said, I thought, man, something's up. I mean, he would be foolish to say something like that if he didn't know what was going on. And I'm going to go ahead and let me just play it so that you can hear it. That way you know that I'm not telling you any fibs. So here's the video that I'm speaking of.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
Now, it's been a week or so since he said that, and in the past week, well, last week, we had several countries come out very openly and say, hey, we're going to start doing trade in other things than the U.S. dollar, or, you know, we just bought a bunch of natural gas in something other than U.S. dollar. France did that, the UAE's talked about it, India, all these other countries, Saudi Arabia has said that, you know, they'll sell China in yuan and things like that. And we're seeing it happen after this Kenyan president said this, and just in the last couple of days, it's continued. Not just last week's information, and if you're interested in what happened last week, I posted a recap on my Twitter page, and you can go there. There's 31 points. It's kind of it kind of went viral in a couple of days. It was viewed like something like 110,000 times. It was talked about on a few different podcasts. And I'm going to start doing that every week as much as I can. I've already been compiling it, and I'm already up to like 25 different things that's happened since Sunday, all very major things. And some of those is, Malaysia has come out, and they're going to partner with China to create and I mentioned this morning, to create an Asian type of fund to help in the de-dollarization. They want to move Asia off of the dollar. Malaysia's also said that they're working in their own country to try to get off of the dollar. Saudi Arabia this morning, the Crown Prince said that they are no longer interested in pleasing the United States. They're no longer interested. And I'm telling you, that alone, what's going on with Saudi Arabia, could end up being a war. I mean, the United States has really kind of been put into a predicament here. They have the option to do some type of physical force against Saudi Arabia, potentially invade, or some type of espionage, or they're just going to have to roll over and die. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what they're going to have to do, because that's what happens when global currencies crash. They either fight to the end or they just die quickly. And so we'll have to wait and see here over the next coming weeks if, you know, the United States tries to do anything to ensure that, or at least potentially ensure that its currency stays the global reserve, because it's become a very overt effort at this point that the U.S. dollar is in trouble. And over the last couple of weeks, I've watched a couple of people talked about this. In fact, there was about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, Edward Dowd, many of you know who that is. He's a former managing director of BlackRock, someone that kind of probably knows what he's talking about. And he was talking about the de-dollarization, and he said it will probably start to happen slowly at first, where you see a few countries here and a few countries here, kind of little pariah countries, say that they're no longer going to use the U.S. dollar, and then all of a sudden, he said it'll just be a snowball effect, and there'll be lots and lots of people, doing that. And I think that we're kind of in that in-between stage right now. We've seen several countries come out and say this, that they're no longer interested. The BRICS nations now make up a larger GDP than the European Union or the United States. The yuan, the Chinese currency, is now the second most traded currency in Russia, next to, of course, the Russian ruble. So it's all starting to kind of fall in line. And this is a major, major deal, folks. This is absolutely, this could be that kind of, that linchpin, that thing that pushes us over the edge, that causes us as an entire nation to fall, not just our currency. Glenn Beck and others have been very, very aggressively speaking about this, of how that we are in serious jeopardy of seeing Venezuela-type hyperinflation, because all that currency that's out in the world today being used when these countries go off the U.S. dollar, they're going to send it back home here. And when they do, it's going to cause our currency to rapidly, rapidly hyperinflate. And that's going to be a really bad deal. I want to show you a video from 2009. This is from, I'm sure it's just about everyone's favorite person in the world, George Soros. But I want to show you this video. It's a minute and a half, so just be patient and watch it. And he's doing an interview, and he's basically, in 2009, talking about the plan for the de-dollarization and how it must happen. It has to happen because there's a plan, and that it has to go through its cycles and fall, and that China will then come out as the new reigning captain of the world, and that the United States will just be a drag. He actually says that the United States after that will just be a drag. It'll be nothing. It'll be just, hanging on by the rest of the world's coattails. And so this just reinforces my theory and belief that all that we are seeing is already been planned out, and they've war gamed it and they've strategized it, and we're just now the pawns living through this. Go ahead and watch this little clip here from George Soros.
But the system we have now has actually broken down, only we haven't quite recognized it. And so you need to create a new one. And this is the time to do it.
In the United States, how worried are you about the budget deficit and maybe about the possibility of inflation?
Well, certainly a decline in the value of the dollar is necessary in order to compensate for the fact that the U.S. economy will remain rather weak, will be a drag on the global economy. China will emerge as the motor replacing the U.S. consumer. And, of course, it's a smaller motor because the Chinese economy is much smaller. So the world economy will have less of a motor. So it will move forward slower than it has in the last 25 years. But China will be the engine driving it forward, and the U.S. will be actually a drag that's being pulled along through a gradual decline in the value of the dollar. So there would be a slow decline in the value of the dollar, a managed decline. And that would be the adjustment that it needs to be accomplished.
There you have it, folks. The master has spoken. Well, not really. He's probably not the top dog in the world. He just may think he is, and a lot of people do listen to him, and he is kind of a big mouthpiece for the far left. This is happening very rapidly, and China is changing very rapidly. Xi Jinping just got voted in recently as the permanent dictator now of China. He is permanent. He no longer has any challenge. There's a piece of metal over here on the sheep shed that is kind of loose. If you hear that flapping, I'm going to have to go repair that before the storms get in. Anyways, they've probably been rubbing against it and popped it loose. But he's definitely a big mouthpiece for the far left. And I don't know that there's anything that can really stop this. Partly what we're seeing happen with Trump may just be a big distraction. I don't know. A distraction from all of this. If it is, it's certainly working. There's probably not a lot we can do other than just continue to prepare. This is very serious, folks. You need to be stocking up. You need to be, it needs to be extremely high priority. Buying food, that kind of stuff. Planting, this kind of stuff. Very, very high priority. Everything that you can get your hands on, I would certainly do that when it comes to preparedness. Bullets, precious metals even, food definitely, ways to just become as self-sufficient, because things are going to start getting very, very expensive. Oil's already gone up. Just in the last day or two, oil's gone up almost $10 a barrel. I've already seen prices increase 10, 15 cents in areas per gallon. So it's going to keep going up. Things are going to get more expensive, folks. It's just inevitable at this point. And you really need to be getting as prepared as you possibly can. It's very serious. And I hope that you're taking it that way. If you are looking for, you don't have to do this, okay? Don't feel any obligation. But if you're looking for emergency food, there's a link in the description below to some of the very best out there. If you're looking for precious metals that you want to kind of put some wealth away. There's also a link in the description below, or you can go with metals.with travis.com. If you're looking for ammunition and things like that, there are several websites. I have no affiliation with them that do a pretty good job. AmmoSeek is one of them. It goes through several different websites and shows you the prices on several different websites. So start looking for that kind of stuff. And then of course, just around your local area, when grocery stores have things on sale, stock up on it. I would be purchasing canning materials, jars, things to preserve the stuff that you're going to grow in your gold fields, like what we're doing here today, and just get ready in general, because you need to be producing a lot of your own needs, and you need to be doing that this year. It should be utmost priority for you folks. Get your houses in order, please do, and get yourselves ready mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.